Alan McInally, I'm going to consult you first, if I may, please. Scotland. 10 times they've been to the well in an international tournament. They've never made it out the group stage. They're the penalty kings. They've done something remarkable by creeping into this tournament. Is it a triumph in itself that they've made it through? Are they just there for the ride, or are they to be taken seriously? How do you assess the Scots and their squad and their chances this time around?
Well, first and foremost, I have to say that I was one of the players who didn't manage us to get us out the group in 1990 World Cup. So I apologise to all our Scottish viewers. And I thought that was going to be our best chance, and we didn't do it, and we didn't qualify since 1988. We're definitely not there to make up the numbers for sure. I think we've got a good group as well. I think it's a realistic group that we could get to the next stage, and this might be the first time that these lads can say we got our nation out of a group. Yeah, we did get in the back door, didn't we? We didn't play particularly well for a good year and a half, and Stevie Clarke took time to try and get a club mentality. We don't have superstars. We don't really have any superstars. I mean, you may think with Tierney and Robertson, we have one of the best left flanks in the group stages. We really do. Both are international football players. Both are at the top level and domestically. But there is absolutely no chance we are there to make up the pieces. I'll be really disappointed if we don't go out our group with England into the group stages for sure, or the knockout stages rather.
Well, that in itself is contentious, because I'd say there are a few Scotland fans saying, why can't Scotland get out of this group with Croatia, who, lest we forget, 3 years ago in the World Cup, eliminated England. So that's another talking point entirely. Scotland 11-10 pre-tournament with Tonybet to qualify from Group D. I personally don't think that's beyond a pale in any way, shape or form. You're the expert, though. When you look at that and you assess particularly the exciting talents you've got, and I'm talking now about, in my own mind, I'm looking at youngsters like Billy Gilmore. I'm looking at maturing players like Scott McTominay, who's been so good for Manchester United in an improving team, but not a finished article. I'm talking about a youngster like Lyndon Dykes. I'm talking about a goal scorer, a predator like John McGinn. Who are you excited to see? And who do you think really is going to light up the stage and perhaps be the big ticket?
Yeah, all them, Tom, to be honest. I'm going to throw Kevin Nisbet in as well, who got a goal against Holland the other night there. I mean, we are a maturing group. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And we're actually, I think, with the performances we've had and the results we've had are encouraging. Now, listen, you mentioned Lyndon Dykes. Lyndon Dykes was born in Australia. I think it was Queensland. Comes over, a kind of rugby league background from the family, ends up at Queen of the South in Dumfries, goes to Livingston, gets to QPR, and he's an international football player. So talking about round the houses, and it's not that we're absolutely relying on him, but you forget about Shea Adams. You're right, who's going to be playing for us now. And obviously John McGinn. But the McGinn thing, I want to see Stevie Clarke play McGinn a little bit further forward, not just play McGinn and McTominay as a two in the middle of the park. But we have players who can definitely, genuinely trouble. I think Stuart Armstrong's had a good season at Southampton. And like I say, with Robertson and Tierney down the left-hand side, we've been pretty good. And Jack Kennedy, one of our centre-halves, I would imagine we'll probably play with a three at the back. I think that will suit us better with Grant Hanley in the middle. But in terms of a superstar for us, I'm genuinely going to go for Robertson down the left-hand flank. If he can create chances for us, then I think Lyndon and Armstrong and Nisbet and McGinn will get us goals where we want to be, which is the knockout stages.
Well, Alan, you've almost preempted it there. So give me an idea, sort of a rough draft. If Pablo Picasso could pull out his sketch pad and make a perfect starting 11 for Scotland to go into this tournament with, if you're Steve Clarke and you're sitting there thinking, okay, some people are going to be disappointed, some people may be pleasantly surprised, but if you're in charge of selection, who do you send out, for example, against England on the 13th?
I go with the wing backs and the three central defenders. With I had written this down as well. I can't remember what I did with it. I'm going to go Hendry certainly, Hanley, and possibly Tierney as a left-sided. Although, Tierney as a left, and Hendry as the right, and Hanley as the middle. And I'll go Robertson on one side. And I'll probably go Stephen O'Donnell on the right-hand side. But I think he'll play McGinn and McTominay. I think he'll play both of those guys against England. I really do. That's not a negative thing because we're looking for McGinn to get forward. And I think he'll play Dykes and Christie. And I think he'll play Stuart Armstrong as well. And I think that'll be our game. So I'll go Tierney, Hanley, Jack Hendry. I'll go McGinn, McTominay. I'll go Robertson, O'Donnell, Christie, Armstrong, and Dykes. That should be 11 that should beat England, no problem.
Well, that Friday night is going to be some occasion. I tell you what, it's not the 13th, it's the 18th. I wanted to say Friday the 13th, but Friday the 18th is a date that should be writ large in sporting fans' minds because that is going to be a very, very special occasion. What I will say is that in itself, Scotland-England, that rivalry, the reignition of that, to every Scotsman, that must just make the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, Alan.
Yeah, everybody's talking about it. I mean, even England are looking forward to it as well, aren't they? It's a fixture that when we were all younger, there was the home nations, etc. And I can remember going to Wembley with my dad, and then obviously going to Hampden with my mates when the game was up in Scotland, etc., etc. And I actually I didn't get to play because Roxburgh didn't play me. He was on the bench. We played England at Hampden, and it was when Stevie Bully scored 2 goals that day. Saturday afternoon at Wembley. It would have been 1990. Was it? I think it might have been before the World Cup, maybe in '89, and it was absolutely unbelievable. Just the wait for it is unbelievable, and I think the factor is even higher now because we don't have it all the time. And if we can get a good result against the Czech Republic first, and then head to Wembley, wow. It'll be absolutely amazing. And I'm sure Emile and everybody he's spoken to are really looking forward to this because obviously they'll be thinking we can turn them over. But I think we might just surprise a few people, hopefully. And like I say, and you spoke about Croatia prior to, I'm saying that hopefully we can get out of the group stages. They're not the Croatia of the runners-up in the World Cup a few years ago. They're not that Croatia anymore. And I genuinely think we have an outstanding chance to go through to the knockout stages with England. I really do.
Well, Alan, thank you for now. You just mentioned Emile. I'll bring you in, please, Emile, because with your England hat on, you look at this and you say, wow, what an opportunity for England to come into this space, joint favourites for the tournament before it begins. And you look at this group and you say to yourself, Czech Republic, Croatia, Scotland, on the face of it, Emile Heskey, this looks, to me at least, like a group that England ought to be at least having strong ambitions to be winning. Would you agree?
I think going into any tournament, England has a strong ambition to win the tournament. There's a lot of pressure on England's sides going into tournaments, and this is exactly the same. As you look at the group, yeah, we would like to think we should be topping that group, but as Alan was talking there, these games are not easy. The Scotland game, I was lucky enough to play in the Scotland game. In a qualifier, we actually lost that game at Wembley. I think it was Don Hutchinson scored a header, but we actually snuck through on the away goal. So they're never going to be easy. You got to throw all form out of the window because everyone they both teams want to win, and it's going to be a huge battle. But going back to actually being top of the table, yeah, it's 100% is something that England are going to be looking at and want to be achieving.
Emile, you, of course, had vast experience of major international tournaments, and you've been through the ringer in terms, I guess, of the nerves and the anticipation around about selection. But you've seen the squad that's been unveiled this week. And yes, there's been a lot of chat about how many fullbacks have been picked, particularly on the right. Yes, there's been a lot of chat about certain players missing. Mm-hmm. Who were you pleased and I guess also disappointed when you saw names both included and omitted? What did you make of that squad selection?
Look, I think one of the toughest jobs is for a national team, especially when you've got so many good players. And then one thing you've got to do is fit the players in and have good balance. Having 4 fullbacks was a little bit strange for me because, again, I thought that you could have had probably a few more attacking players, taking one of the fullbacks out and having a few more attacking players. Again, taking players that are not fit. I've been in an environment where we've taken David Beckham, which is probably a different scenario in the sense that he was our captain and he's our talisman and he was our real proper leader in taking us into a tournament and he wasn't fully fit. So picking players when they're not fully fit and not picking players when they've had probably the season of their life. When you're looking at Jesse Lingard, done fantastic, taking West Ham to heights that you probably wouldn't have even foreseen 12 months ago, and scoring goals that you didn't realise that he had it in him, but just enjoying his football. And this is one thing when you're going into actually tournaments and at the end of a season, you want to be picking people on their performances, on merit. And this is where you have a real balancing act when you're a manager. Do you pick someone on the fact that you know that you can achieve, you know that you can do this, but he hasn't really done it for the last couple of months? Or do you pick someone who's actually done it for the last couple of months and you know that he's in rich vein of form?
Of course. So if you're disappointed to see Lingard omitted, which I think lots of us share those sentiments after the campaign he's had that you highlighted, who are you pleased to see included? Who do you think are the real threats? Who actually excites you? When you look at that squad of players at the disposal of Gareth Southgate and his coaches, who do you think is going to light up those games? Who would you be looking at to really get on the ball and make things happen?
When you look at the season that Phil Foden has had, I think he is fantastic. I don't think there's anything he can't do. I've seen him play a false number 9, and I thought he was very good at doing that. But again, that's with a group of players that understand the way that it's going to be, the way that the structure is going to be worked on. Mason Mount has had an absolutely fabulous season. Considering the criticism that he's had when Frank was in charge and etc., to come out the way that he has and be a mainstay and be a real talisman in that team in a big club is fantastic. And Jack Grealish is coming back. We all know what Jack Grealish can do. We all know what he's capable of. But having him there and actually going out and having the opportunity to call upon someone like that is fantastic.
Thank you, Emile. So let's just say in your mind's eye, it is the first game of Euro 2020. You're 48 hours out from the game. You're sitting with Gareth Southgate. He says, Emile, I am stumped. I am really stumped here. I'm trying to pick a starting 11. I've got options left, right, and centre. Just give me your sequence, your chain of events that says, here's 11 players who are going to walk out of that tunnel and who are going to win that opening fixture. What is your starting lineup for this summer's international tournament? It's tough, but
I'm really going to throw it on me now.
You need 14 players, Emile.
Yeah, I know. Back four, obviously, I'd go with Pickford.
You would go Jordan Pickford, yeah?
I would.
Interesting.
Yeah, I would go with Pickford. I would. This is interesting. I actually quite like Reece James at right back. I think he's very versatile. He's very powerful young lad. Doesn't really get done on 1v1s.
Great game in the Champions League final.
Yeah,
Brilliant game.
Yeah, fantastic. Centre backs. Stones. Oh, you're really doing me here. Let's go left back, Chilwell. I actually like the balance of Tyrone Mings, but I would probably... Maguire's not fit, is he?
Question mark, but probably not.
Yeah. I tell you what, I'm going to go Stones and Kyle Walker. Again, playing together at club level helps, I think, at times, so you have a better understanding. And I think that's why he picked so many right backs, because again, he can actually tuck inside when called upon.
So we're going 3 or 4 in midfield.
I'm going to go 3. I'm going to go 3, and I'm going to have Declan Rice holding. I don't think Henderson's fit, and I don't think Calvin Phillips is fully fit right now, is he? If Calvin Phillips is fit, I'll go with 2 holding. But if Calvin Phillips is not fit, I'll go with 1 holding, obviously Declan Rice. I'll go with Grealish in front of that, and then I'll go Foden, Mount, and then Harry Kane.
Fascinating. A lot of young players, and Jack Grealish, who is perhaps the wild card player who can
Still
make.
Young though, Jack.
Oh, listen, a special player, a mercurial talent. Emile, thank you for now. Brilliant.
Thank you very much.
We will revisit a few angles from both Alan and Emile momentarily. However, Ian Rush, we cannot leave you out in the cold for too much longer, sitting in a very comfy looking armchair, purring with satisfaction at a Welsh team under Robert Page, who, yeah, I would say, Ian, it's been a little bit of a volatile build-up with some of the background noise about Robert Page having to come in that caretaker role. Wales are outsiders for Group A, understandably, because Italy have been so strong in qualifying, and yet they're there on merit. Will they, despite their lofty odds, either win that group? Probably not, unless you tell me otherwise. Can they escape from Group A?
Yes, I think they can escape. I think when you look at Italy are favourites to win the group, we all know that. But when you look at Switzerland and Turkey, I think add Wales to that, and I think any one of them three can qualify. I think it's after Italy, any of these three teams can qualify, and I would expect Wales to qualify. Rob Page has done a good job. He's brought Kit Simons in as well, but I think the attacking side of Wales could be the difference, and I'm really, really looking forward to Wales playing these games, and they've got a bit of experience after 2016 Euros. So I'm just really looking forward to seeing this attacking side for Wales.
That's fascinating, because you're in effect telling me that you firmly believe Wales will be taking points off certainly Switzerland, certainly Turkey. If you expect them, not just it's a chance, you expect them to qualify from Group A. Those are strong words. Yes,
because the last game is Italy, and we know we're in a position there, and hopefully we're in a position to know what we need against Italy. So normally they say when you go into this group, don't lose your first game. I'm looking, Wales are playing Switzerland, and I would be looking, win this first game. Then you'll be getting to the last game where if you win, you can still qualify. So I would say most probably the opposite this time. I think Wales have got to go and take the game to Switzerland, and I think they can do that. They've got the attacking players to do that. And I think if they get 3 points there, I think they can easily qualify.
Despite the amazing progress that they made in the Euros of 2016, why do they just not get the credit they deserve? They don't seem to get enough respect, this Welsh team.
Because they're Welsh. It's amazing what it is, and that's what it's all about. We have to bring Wales to Europe and make them show. We got to the semi-finals of the Euros 2016, so we have to start making a name for ourselves now. And I think with the players, the young players that we got, and the experienced players that we have, I think we can actually do that. But you only do that by winning games at Euros.
Right. Talk to me about those players, because on the one hand, you've got the multiple Champions League winning flag bearer that is Gareth Bale. Is he as good as he was? On the other side, you've got this wonderful young player, Ethan Ampadu, who's only, 20 years of age. He's been playing really well on loan in a struggling team. And in between that, you've got some really experienced and exciting pros. How do you assess that group of players, Ian?
I think they're a great group of players. And I think that's why I think they've got the experience now with the young players. And like I keep looking at this, I watched Daniel James play with Bale against the Czech Republic, and you look at the goal that he scored there. The combination that they have there was it's called the football brain. They know what they're doing, and add Aaron Ramsey to that. I would put Aaron Ramsey as like a false number 9, and I would have James, Bale, and Ramsey, and that is some attacking force. And they all know how to play football. They all have the football brain. And one thing with them three playing, I would guarantee chances.
Guaranteeing chances. Just give me a line on Ampadu, because, as I say, he's a kid. I mean, he's green, he's raw, he's wet behind the ears, but boy, can he play. Do you like him?
Yes. I'm the elite performance director of the Welsh FA Trust. I had him when he's 14, 15 years old, and he stood out then when he was at Exeter. He stood out then, and he's grown into a man now. And I think with him, and you've got Joe Allen with his experience, them two old in midfield, I think, you've got a quite tight midfield, and Ampadu has done absolutely fantastic this year.
I put the squeeze on no less than an international behemoth like Emile Heskey and bullied him into picking his strongest first 11. He didn't run screaming for the field. He said no problem, and he named a fantastic potential starting lineup for England. So same conundrum for you with a Welsh shirt on, Ian. For the opening fixture, who would you like Mr. Page to be picking if you had a little bit of influence there to say, look, this is my opinion. I think this is a team that will get us 3 points in the opener?
Well, you're looking at the opposition you're playing against. I mean, obviously Switzerland. So I would say, for me, I would go and attacking to try and win the game. I would play Hennessy in goal if fit, if not Danny Ward. If Hennessy's fit, because he's had experience of the Euro 2016. Then you're looking at, you got Mempum, then Royden, Ben Davies. I think they'll play 3-4-3. So you got them. Then you've actually got Connor Roberts, Ampadu, Allen, and I would go maybe Nico Williams on the left-hand side instead of Reece because he can get up and down. But the most important thing, then you've got Bale, James, and Ramsey. So I would say them three, you do what you want because they can play, and the others have to be well organised. Until last night, until they lost to France, Wales have not conceded many goals. And I think they'll be trying to put a lot onto that, keep it tight at the back, because we know these three can score goals.
That warm-up result against France is irrelevant, isn't it? That's just something to give the players a run out, find a little bit of cohesion and coherence, a little bit of fluidity in the squad. They wouldn't be in any way concerned about that, would they?
No, they wouldn't be. They're playing the world champions as well. And when you go down to 10 men, it's always going to be difficult and all that. But I think it's an experience for them. And I think they'll learn from that. And it's all basically just getting ready for the first game. And like I say, normally teams say, don't lose the first game. But I would be going for Wales saying, you're playing Switzerland. You're not playing Italy. You're not playing France. You're playing Switzerland, a team where you can beat if you have the confidence to go out there and do it.
Excellent stuff. Thank you, Ian.